What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where fans welcome. We're officially ready to rock and roll for our NFL Week 12 picks, predictions, and give you my thoughts on some of these lines. Should you throw some money on some of these games or not? That's what I'm here for. So, the first game we have in the slate are the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. So, the Falcons are given 1.5 points for this game. Honestly, the Saints shouldn't have too much of an issue in this game. If you look on the surface of this game, if you just take a quick glance at it, you're gonna think it's a tough game to predict. But the last couple of weeks here, the Saints, that they've played before their bye week, they're actually number 10 in yards per game. They've actually played pretty well, offensively. And then you have Derek Carr; he will be back. It was really good timing for the bye week. Derek Carr will be back. He has some good weapons, and at the end of the day, the reason why I think that the Saints, it's a little bit easier to predict this game once you dissect it and look into it, is because once you start looking at the Saints offense, they're going to do a very good job running the football. They're going to pass the ball well. And I think that this Falcons defense is just going to get worn out by the end of the game. And the Saints are going to make a couple big run plays late in the game, a couple of nice passes. I think that's going to be the difference in the Saints winning and the Falcons losing. It's ultimately, which offense do you trust in more? And it is the Saints all the way 100%. Now, you do have Tyler Heineke, and, maybe the Falcons run the ball a little bit better, but, the Saints are going to run the ball fine. I would say the Saints defense is pretty darn good themselves. So, I'm absolutely taking the Saints offense to make that extra play. So, I will take the Saints 1.5. I think they win by a touchdown. I think they win by at least by a touchdown, because they have a much better offense. Falcons defense is going to get tired as the game goes on, because the Falcons offense can't really stay on the field. They really struggle to get drives going, can't make that extra play in the air. And that's why I have the Saints taking the Falcons in Atlanta to continue on their big lead and to continue to cement themselves as the number one team in the NFC North. Next up, you have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you can run the ball against the Bengals, and the Steelers have ran the ball really well even when Matt Canada is there. Now he's gone. What makes you think they're not going to be able to run the ball just as good or even better? Now they'll be able to get, hopefully they'll be able to get the passing game going with Kenny Pickett. Try and get him out of the pocket. There was no creativity before. Now, try and get Kenny Pickett out of the pocket. It seems like he's best when he's outside the pocket. Give him some bootlegs, give him some, let him roll out and make passes then. It seems like that's when he plays his best ball. So let him do some of that, but they should be able to build on a really strong running game. The passing game should be able to make a couple of plays, because, the easiest way to win football games in the NFL is to be able to run the football, and run the football at a very well and high rate, at a very good job. And the Steelers have been doing that, and I don't think it will stop versus the Bengals. The Bengals have one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL, they can't protect their quarterback, and they can't really stop the run. And the Bengals do have a good offense. They have some good weapons. Jake Browning is no Joe Burrow though, and going up against a really stingy, really disciplined Mike Tomlin defense, it's going to get after him all day long. Probably going to get a couple turnovers off of him, and that's going to be a difference in this game. And the Steelers should have no problem running the football. That'll only make the passing game better. So, yeah, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-20. That defense is going to make is going to make that difference. Getting after Jake Browning, an inexperienced quarterback that hasn't played too much. So, yeah, I got Steelers 24-20 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Next up, Tennessee Titans and the Carolina Panthers. So, the Titans have been one of those teams that they play so darn good at home. And it's kind of the same thing with the Falcons. I didn't really talk about that with the Falcons. I just think that the Saints are the better football team. I don't really, look into that stuff too much. But the Titans have played much better at home, especially their defense for some reason. So, I think that's going to be a difference in this game. The Titans' defense playing really well, and it's not really a good matchup for the Panthers either way. The Titans can run the ball well. They're going to run the ball well. Tajay Spears is fast. He's very elusive. It's hard to kind of get a finger on him. It's hard to get a hand on him. Derrick Henry, well, he's just going to want to run you over, and he likes the contact. So it's probably going to be a rough day for this Panthers rushing defense. Because, and then on top of that, Will Levis has looked pretty good. He's looked much better than I thought he would in the NFL. Doing a very good job. DeAndre Hopkins has stepped up for him. He's made some really nice passes to DeAndre Hopkins. Will Levis doing a good job, and that might be the difference in this game, considering Will Levis has played really well. And, I'm not saying Will Levis is better than Bryce Young, but, neither quarterback really has too much. I think the big difference in this game is the coaching. You look at Frank Reich, the way he has done against Mike Vrabel in the past when he was with the Colts. Mike Vrabel outcoached him every single game. He made Frank Reich look like he should go, he should go coach like Division II college ball or something. That's how badly Mike Vrabel had Frank Reich beat all the time. And, yeah, so I think that's kind of going to be a bit of a difference as well. Mike Vrabel, Frank Reich, they know each other really well. Now, we'll see what, we get out of out of Adam Thielen and Bryce Young. If someone else can step up, they get the deep passing game going, and that's kind of the way to beat the Titans. If you get the deep passing game going, if you get air the ball out, and the Panthers can't really do that because they can't really get the time to, because offensive line doesn't play well, and the Titans are going to get their quarterback, so they could pressure the quarterback. They're not going to have too much of an issue doing that, so it could be a long day for this Titans defense. It could be. No, I was just saying the complete opposite. Why do you even say that? No, the Titans defense should have a good day. They should be able to stop the run. They're really good against the run. They're pretty good tacklers. They're good shutting things down right away. So I'm taking the Titans and the better coaching. I think that's going to be a difference in this game. I got the Titans 26-21. Would you take the spread? It's probably going to be a really close game. I wouldn't take the spread. I wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't put any money on it. All right. Next up, Indianapolis Colts at home taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Bucks, hold on. First off, I was pretty surprised when I saw that the Colts were actually favored by 2.5 in this game. Because, you look at the matchup, it is not a good matchup for the Colts at all. It is a very bad matchup. The Colts like to run the football. The offense has kind of come back down to earth the last couple of weeks. It seems like teams have the film out. They're playing down to their talent level. And I don't think they're going to be able to do much better against the Bucs. The Patriots don't have a really good defense, and they only scored 10 points to really struggle. It was rough. No, you did have an entire week off. You had the advantage in rest, having the bye week, yeah. And maybe they're taking the advantage. They're at home, coming off the bye. But I'm just going to give it to you straight. The Bucs have a really good defense. They're going to play man coverage. They're going to stop the run, and the Colts want to run the football. And if somehow the Colts can run the football, if they can get that run game going, they should win this game. But I don't think they will. The Buccaneers have a good run defense. Now, there are some key players out on both sides. You have Jamel Dean is out. But I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference, especially in stopping the run. They're going to stop the run just fine. And then, because the Colts do have Ryan Kelly out, starting center. He is out. And then, you look at the Colts defense, not a very good defense. And look at the receivers you're playing. You're playing Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, two top 15, top really good receivers in the NFL. Mike Evans is great, going to go up and catch it, and big-time contested catches. And, on top of that, you get open. He's speedy. He's fast. And on the other side, you have a incredible route runner in Chris Godwin. I'm not saying Mike Evans isn't a good route runner, but with how inexperienced that Colts secondary is, it's going to be a long day for the secondary. It's going to be a long day. But the Colts have been good in the red zone. They have been good in terms of, that they did a very good job they did a very good job against the Patriots in that sense. The Patriots have actually been one of the better teams in the red zone once they get there. That's kind of the big hump for them to get to the red zone. But once they do, it seems like they've been doing a very good job. But the Colts defense did a very good job versus them that week. The Patriots had a really hard time scoring, a couple of turnovers in the red zone. And, but it's not going to be enough versus the Bucs. You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin. Even Rashad White has had some really nice games running the football, and the Colts' run defense is not very good. So, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Indianapolis and spoiling the Colts coming off their bye week. I have the Bucs 20-17. Next matchup, you have the New York Giants at home taking on the New England Patriots. The Giants are given 3.5 points. The reason why I'm taking the Patriots in this game is I think they're going to be able to run the football. I think they're going to do a good job running the football, and I think that defense is really going to give Tommy DeVito a run for his money. Bill Belichick going to do a very good job. Now, you had they did play the Commanders a couple weeks ago. The Giants, very recently, last week, and Tommy DeVito looked very good. He had 3 passing touchdowns, had a lot of passing yards, but that Commanders defense is not good horrible. There's a reason why Jack Del Rio was fired. Horrible defensive coordinator. Well, he, with the Commanders anyway, did a very poor job. That defense just didn't look right. Never looked in place. They're just some of the worst I've seen from a defense in a while. But now you're going from that. Now you're going to play the New England Patriots, and they're not the New England Patriots from 2 or 3 years ago. They don't have that type of talent. They're not that great of a football team, but Bill Belichick is still a very good head coach. He's gonna, against young quarterbacks, he's done a very good job in the past, and I don't see that really changing against Tommy DeVito. I mean, he doesn't really have anyone that can get open consistently. Are they going to be able to run the football? They might be able to get the run game going a little bit, but the Patriots are going to get the run game going better. They're going to make a couple more plays on offense. Although, that Giants defense has been really summing up. They've been really good at times, but I think that the Patriots defense is going to put their offense in that many good positions just because of how poor the Giants offense is. So I have the Patriots taking it 16-10 over the New York Football Giants in their home. Next up, this is like game of the week territory. This is going to be such a darn good football game. You have one of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL, and C.J. Stroud. He's a rookie. He's an MVP candidate. He has had MVP whispers already. And on the other side, you've had a quarterback who's still trying to figure out Trevor Lawrence. He's been inconsistent. He's struggled at times, and I want to see Trevor Lawrence do good, but I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing a top 10 quarterback in Trevor Lawrence right now, to be honest with you. He's been very inconsistent, underthrowing it, overthrowing it, and he's not putting the ball. His ball placement is not great. It's very inconsistent. As the entire Jaguars team is a very inconsistent football team. I noticed that their defense is very inconsistent. Their offensive line is really just not good as a whole. Trevor Lawrence is inconsistent. Their weapons are inconsistent. Travis Etienne, I'd say he's had a big part in why this Jaguars offense has done as well as it has. Now, of course, Calvin Ridley has played really well. You've had some good games from Christian Kirk. Evan Ingram has been, he's been all right. But you look at the other side, man. I'm going to take the offense that's going to be able to make the extra plays. That's why I'm taking the Texans. I trust C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Noah Brown and what they have over there to make the extra play. They're more consistent. You know what you're getting from them. And, the Texans are only better from when they played the Jaguars in, week 4 or 5, week 6? The Texans are only better since then. But I can absolutely see a scenario where the Jaguars come in and they win in the Texans stadium. We've seen weird things like that happen before. Division rivals winning at each other's stadiums. It's division rivals, crazy things happen. But I'm taking the quarterback and I'm taking the team that has been more consistent. I'm taking the hotter football team. So, yeah. It just all depends on what Jaguars team shows up. But I have the Texans 27-24. All right. How about this matchup? The Broncos at home taking on the Cleveland Browns. The difference in this game is going to be the Broncos run game and the Broncos playing a mile high. That's going to play a big role in this game, and let me tell you why. So we all know how good the Browns defense is, especially the passing defense. The passing defense is they're pretty darn good to say the least. But the running defense, you can run against them. You can absolutely run against the Browns. That's where they struggle a little bit. And of course, the Broncos, they love to run the football. They run the football really well. So they really shouldn't have too much of a hard time running the football against the Browns. I mean, the Steelers just ran all over them last week. The Steelers lost. They ran the football really well. And, defense for the Broncos, they're going to make a couple plays on DTR. He's young. He's inexperienced. He's still trying to get it figured out. Playing against a really good defense, honestly. I've never seen a defense. I've never seen one side of the football make such a drastic jump and change in a season. A drastic turnaround like the Broncos defense has. Don't forget, at the beginning of the season, they allowed, 70 points to the Dolphins? And they've allowed 36 to the Commanders. They've had a couple of games where that defense was, yikes. It was really bad. But the defense has looked incredible the last couple of weeks. I mean, did a very good job against the Bills, Packers, Patriots, Vikings. The defense has been very impressive. Now, is this fairy tale going to last forever? Are they going to keep winning these big games? Possibly. If their defense continues to get better and they just continue to get better as the season goes by on, it feels like Sean Payton has these guys playing hard. Russell Wilson has turned back the clock a couple of years. They're just gonna pound the football. It's and don't forget the Broncos have one of the very few legit home field advantages with Mile High. Much less oxygen. It's much more difficult for players to go there and play. They get tired quick, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Broncos rush for over 100 yards, and it's not even the end of the first half yet. That defense line is gonna get tired. They'll be gassed, and I'm banking on that on DTR and the Browns offense to make a couple of mistakes, and and having that be the difference in the game. So I have the Broncos 24-19. They are favored by 1.5. I would absolutely take the Broncos 100%. I would put a good amount of money on this game, honestly. But yeah, the Broncos, they're gonna win 24-19. And the Broncos at home taking care of business. All right, Los Angeles Rams traveling to Arizona to play their division rival, the Cardinals. So, really what I'm going to ask you in this game, I know why I picked the Rams. Obviously, I better, but, I kind of asked myself, what are you going to pick? Who are you going to pick? Are you going to take, who are you going to trust to make the better play? Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp. I do believe he's playing. You go to the Cardinals side of it, they're playing, you got Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, Trey McBride has actually looked pretty good so far this season, but other than that, who do you really have making plays? Marquise Brown, he's all right. He's not too bad. But really, what would you take those guys over Matthew Stafford and then making the extra play? Because both defenses are middle of the road. They're all right. The Cardinals defense, they are sneaking, and the Cardinals are going to play everyone really tough. But I'm trusting the Rams and Puka and what they have on offense and Sean McVay and the offensive mind to make the difference in this game. And I would think that the Rams should win by at least a touchdown, in my opinion. Shouldn't have too much of an issue. Now, I can see this game being a lot higher scoring than I have it right here. But both offenses have their blemishes. They both have their issues. They both have their problems. And both defenses have their good weeks. So I'm taking the Rams 24-17 over the Cardinals. Good old NFC West matchup. All right. I have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. So Raiders are given 10 points. But I think the Chiefs should be fine. I'm banking on these receivers having a big game. I'm banking on them catching the football for once. We clear as day saw what happened with MVS. That has really summed up how the season has gone for the Chiefs wide receivers this year. Patrick Mahomes has not been able to find that guy to make plays for him. I don't think it's really going to change now if it hasn't up to this point. You have Travis Kelce. He's been awesome. That's really all you got. Rashee Rice has made a couple nice plays here and there, but it's not enough. He's not really there yet. He's not really that number one, that guy you can trust all the time. He's not there yet. But, I do think the Chiefs will win by more than 10 points. And if it's not their offense making plays, it's their defense that should make plays. Their passing defense is incredible. Their defense as a whole, very, very, very good defense. And it was just very unfortunate that they were shut out in the second half. Well, the offense was shut out in the second half. The defense, they for the most part did their job that game. It's just, they gave their offense a ton of opportunities, but the offense just gave it away. They're, just not doing their job, dropping footballs and miscommunications, just not being on the same page. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think the Chiefs should have too much of an issue in this game. Raiders have not been able to run the ball here. I don't see that changing this game. I don't see them being able to get in the pass game going. Defense is what it is. It's not. It's. I mean, the Chiefs did really struggle versus one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL, and the Eagles. They have not been a good passing defense at all. But, are you really going to be able to do that much of a better job versus the Raiders? I don't know. Mahomes should have a lot more time. Should, one of the better offense lines in the league in the Chiefs. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm taking the Chiefs. So 27-16, the Chiefs should still win this game. Next up, you have the Philadelphia Eagles at home taking on the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a very close game. But, what I'm going to ask you is, what I'm going to tell you is, the Eagles aren't going to get away with the same mistakes that the Chiefs receivers made. The Bills have a much better receiving core. Now, is there something going on in the locker room? Is Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs really not getting along? It doesn't seem like it, but on the football field, they're still very good football players. They're great football players. They're dynamic. They're awesome together. On the field, off the field, they have not really looked, it sounds like they're having issues. Something just behind the scenes they're trying to keep quiet, it just seems. But sometimes, it does leak onto the football field, and usually it does. But this game, Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, even Khalil Shakir has been a very underrated receiver so far this year. The Eagles are probably going to struggle a little bit on, their pass defense is not very good. Now, I did a good job versus the Chiefs, you could say, but I mean, how much could you really say that when you got very fortunate with some drops? Now, that happens every week, yeah, but the big-time game-winning touchdown pass, could have been game-winning. You never know what the Eagles could have done on offense, but frankly saying, Stephon Diggs won't drop that kind of pass, that MVS drop. Gabe Davis won't even drop that pass. I don't think Khalil Shakir would drop that pass. Khalil Shakir, I really like Khalil Shakir. I think he's a very underrated receiver in this league. On top of that, you have Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Knox, Dawson Knox. James Cook can come out of the backfield and catch the football. And, the Bills firing Ken Dorsey is one of the best things they've done because he was just forcing things. The way the offense was playing, didn't really like the way he was coaching it, as no one did. The reason why he was fired. But they did a very good job versus the Jets defense last week, who kept everyone in check. Just ask the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, and now you're having teams come to town that just absolutely blew the Jets defense out of the water, and I don't see why they shouldn't have too much of an issue with this Eagles defense. The reason why I do have the score being a little low for what I'm saying is because the Eagles are going to run the football. They're going to run the football like crazy. But that tush push is going to come back to bite them sooner or later because you have to find more creative ways to get that first down, and there's going to be a game where it's just not going to work. A game where I could see that happening is when they're playing the Niners. You have Javon Hargrave. That defensive line is just monstrous. But yeah, I do have the Bills winning this game. I think the Bills are going to win this game. They have some good receiving talent. They're going to get open. Josh Allen's going to make a couple of really nice throws against a struggling passing defense. They have a good game last week, but like I said, how much can really put that on just, the defense having a good day, the passing defense in general, when you have so many crazy drops, miscommunications, and stuff like that. Give them credit. They shut out Patrick Mahomes in the second half of that game, but still, you're not going to get away with those versus Chiefs or versus the Bills with Stephon Diggs, with Gabe Davis. So that's the difference I'm giving, that's kind of the difference in this game. That's why I'm taking the Bills. So, yeah, all right, I got the Bills upsetting the Eagles. Okay, Baltimore Ravens head into Los Angeles. It is East Coast to West Coast, so you could say that's going to make a difference. But, I mean, the Ravens have looked great so far this season. They've had no issues whatsoever in getting the job done. They've been great. They've beaten up on some really good teams. They've killed some really good teams. At the time, the Lions were one of the highest teams, one of the most hyped up teams. Ravens said, nah, we're here. They beat up on the Seahawks really well. They're just looking like a really good football team, and they are a very good football team. And the Chargers, there's only so much Justin Herbert could do. Not really too much around Justin Herbert. Quentin Johnson, man, you got to catch that pass last week. You have guys who just aren't stepping up. Outside of Keenan Allen, you need someone else to step up and make plays. And the Ravens have a really good defense. They're going to get after the quarterback. They're going to stop the run. Going to be a long day for this Chargers offense and the defense. I had the Ravens taking care of business in Los Angeles without too much of a worry. All right, next game. I thought this was a very tough game to predict because the Bears have been on a roll lately offensively. They've looked really well. They've ran the ball really well. They had a really close game with the Lions, and they've been putting up some yards. They've been putting on some kind of an offensive performance. I think Justin Fields has looked pretty good. I think he's looked better than what he did in the beginning of the season. Can he keep it going? Because, last year around this time, it seemed like Justin Fields had a nice stretch, and then he kind of went back to the same Justin Fields that, we've seen before. But I'm going to take the Vikings. I think the coaching is better. I would take Josh Dobbs over Fields right now. Josh Dobbs has played incredible. He's been running the football really well, and I think his passing is a little better. But I do think both of them hold on to the ball a little too long. The Vikings should be able to... No. The Bears have actually had a really good run defense this year so far. So they may struggle to run the football a little bit, but we'll see how they fare against Joshua Dobbs. Likes to run the football, got out of the pocket a lot. so I fair against him. Justin Jefferson, not sure if he'll be back for this game. He said that he might not. It depends on how he feels by the time the game comes around. But it's gonna be a good football game. I'm just gonna give the Vikings the edge in defense. I think they get a little more going on offense. I'm gonna trust what they have on offense more. Jay Jettas, Addison, Osborne, Brenton Powell, T.J. Hawkinson, and the coaching is gonna be a difference, I think. So I'm in. The Minnesota Vikings defense. They've been decent this year. They've been decent, much better than I thought they would, honestly. But the Vikings favored by 3 points. I take it. I think they win by more than 3. So I have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears, beating them at home, taking care of business, and getting back to their winning ways after a tough loss versus the Broncos, which is a very, very hot football team looking very good. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for you guys this week. Thank you for tuning into the JDW Sports Talk Show, where fans welcome. We do our weekly picks every single week. I apologize, it was out a little late this week, thrown out on Saturday, but with the holiday and stuff going on, I didn't really have a chance to do it on Thursday, and then Friday I was a little busy, which is today, which is when technically I'm recording at 2 in the morning, but it is what it is. We'll get this video up by Saturday. Not sure if our Madden video will be out later on today. We might have to push that back a day because it's just been a crazy holiday, a lot of stuff going on, But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning into the JW Sports Talk Show, where fans welcome. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on. It's been saying future videos. We do a Hot Take Tuesdays. We do Hot Take Tuesdays, a way to get you guys involved in the last Hot Take Tuesday episode of every month. There is a giveaway. We did one at the beginning of this month, so it will be next month at the end of the month. So join the Discord. It's where you drop your hot takes and you become a part. If you drop a hot take, you're automatically entered into the giveaway. But you have to join Discord for that, or if you become a member, you're automatically entered. Then you have, our weekly power rankings, and, obviously our predictions are right here. We're doing a lot more live shows, a lot of good stuff going on here. We're building a great community here, and I'm very fortunate to have the people watching and the people listening that do watch and listen. I truly appreciate you guys, and these next 2 months are going to be pedal to the metal with the show. Going to do absolutely as much as we possibly can. Lots of studying, hopefully getting, really studying some college ball a little bit too, getting to know some of these players for the draft. But yeah, that is it for me. Thank you for tuning into the JW Sports Talk Show, where fans welcome. This is the JW Sports Talk Show, signing off.